Welcome to the Advanced Swimming Performance Podcast, sponsored by Commit Swimming, the smartest workout log. Just type a set and Commit instantly calculates the data for you. To learn more, visit commitswimming.com. We highly recommend it. John,
How's it going, Jenny?
good. How are you? I think we got a little bit of a delay there. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I think that we had a little connection, but hopefully moving forward, it's all good. Anyways, so yeah, everything's good here. What's new on your end?
I am down in Northern Virginia. Good old home, sweet home. Fun fact, my birthplace. I am technically from Virginia. Grew up here.
Uh-oh.
Very proud of that. And I'm staying with some family, and I was really excited because I got here and opened the fridge, right? Because my aunt, you gotta love her. She's like, "Come on in, food's all here. Help yourself," kind of a lady.
Nice.
And I opened the freezer, and there it is, the economy size box of Eggos. And I think I've eaten about half of them.
Uh-oh. Man, that could be dangerous.
Again, not a nutrition podcast, but
Definitely not. So are you do you do toaster oven? How do you prepare your
I'm
Egos?
kind of whatever's readily accessible, whatever gets me the Eggo. And it's not something that I will personally purchase. So again, no, brand loyalty or advertisement to Eggo.
Or
But I
judging.
think it's been a few years, and I was very excited to consume half of that economy size box. So
Good to know. That's quite an accomplishment, I must say.
yeah. What do you got going on? What's new with you?
Not much. Just keeping busy here. We got statue Brandon intern in the back.
Hi,
Once
Statue
again.
Brandon.
Oh, yep. I think hopefully working away on his project right now, looking into solar interns here at Core. We usually go through anywhere between 8 and 10 a year.
Love it.
So anyone out there looking for an intern, either physical
Yes.
therapy, strength and conditioning, whatever, reach out
Love
to
it.
us. There's application online. There's an internship project, and he's going to be working on some of the trends in technology for physical therapy and rehabilitation. So
Perfect.
he's keeping busy looking into that because there's been some technology changes, and
Tons of it.
we'll see how it impacts treatments and things like that moving forward. I'll never forget, I was had a PT lecture, and I brought the idea once of having drones and
Yeah.
robots treating us and what we were going to be doing for job security in the future, and the professors did not find that entertaining or want to talk about it in any more detail. But I still think it's a valid thing to be thinking
I
about.
still think it's very valid because I distinctly remember giving a presentation on telemedicine and how
Okay.
it was actually going to become necessary, if not popular.
Uh-huh.
And that was back in my undergrad, probably about 8 years ago.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and I was met with the same resistance that it was never going to happen. And I was like, okay, well, we'll watch it. And here we are.
Yeah.
Telemedicine's pretty much mainstream now in a lot of places.
Yeah, it is. I mean, we do phone consults here for some of
Sure.
our patients and people from out of the area. I was working with one company that, I don't know, for the PT side, I don't think it mattered as much because they were really about getting like high quality video and HD video and stuff. And I'm
Okay.
like, you know what? That doesn't matter to me that much. I can see someone move on a call like this pretty, good enough. But obviously, other forms of medicine, if you're looking at skin or discoloration,
Sure.
like that can make a big difference. So, anyways, that's our views and thoughts on telemedicine and robots
Those are
treating.
just our views and thoughts. That's all we have to say today.
Exactly. Thanks for visiting. No, but what are we going to be talking about here today? Why don't
We're
we?
talking for anyone that is actually watching this on Google Plus, I'm going to pull up something real quick that I'm going to read. We are talking about a piece of research that is entitled "Development and Validation of a Swimmer's Functional Pain Scale."
Mhm.
And the reason, it's a little bit of an older piece now that we're bringing it up, but I really love it. And I think it's really the first time that we've seen a really great effort putting an actual structure to how we take on the challenge of a swimmer experiencing some type of symptom or some type of pain. Oh, is that a connection issue again? Oh, there we go. Perfect. Excellent. Okay, so John is clearly more technologically advanced with Google Plus than I am, so now you guys can all see it. So there's a few stats that are right in the introduction that I think are really important, especially for our more clinically or non-swimming background performance listeners, and that is that competitors swimmers are typically completing 2,500 upper extremity revolutions per day during each swim practice. I think those of us that might not be coming into the world of swimming from a personal standpoint, we don't necessarily understand how many revolutions we're expecting out of the shoulders and out of the body, just in general, every single day for practice. So I did want to bring light to that stat. The other is, we're still seeing 6 to 8 workouts per week. And, for better or worse, we've talked about many different training styles, practice styles. I don't necessarily see in the foreseeable future that number, 6 to 8 practices per week, is going to change. Do you?
Nope, and I see
Nope.
it higher than that in all honesty already. So I think I've even seen 9 and 10 and things like
Yep.
that, and in the summer going even into the 11, 12 range. So no, I don't think that stat is
It's
going
not going down.
Yep,
Definitely not going down. And then the other one, a stat that this particular piece pulled back from 2009, but certainly we've seen a variation of the stat from many different reports. About 80% of swimmers complaining of shoulder pain some point during their careers. So what we can really take from that, even with the variance in the actual percentages with the different research, is that it's a very high amount of athletes are experiencing this issue. So what the authors of this particular piece did is create a roadmap, basically, to initial questions we can ask a swimmer about pain, and then basically if-then scenarios about how to work through that. And that's what I love from a high-level view, what I absolutely love about this piece and this thinking, and I would really like us all to push a little bit more into thinking this way, that if-then thinking. So the main point is the question, is the swimmer experiencing pain longer than 72 hours? That's pretty much the starting point. What do you think about that as a starting point?
I think it's fine. I really like this piece because it brings across many different things that I think are really important for swim coaches. Because I think anyone involved in swimming, unless you're really in your own world, realize that shoulder pain is a very common thing. But what to do next, knowing when it's serious, knowing what steps to do, is where it gets a little trickier. And I can never like to throw the absolute that the 72 hours, yeah, but if it's, pain less than that, or if it's not lingering longer, it's not a big deal. But nonetheless, I think it's a good place for coaches to use and start with.
Yeah, and I think more from the clinical endpoint, especially our larger healthcare systems, right, that might not have someone that is an expert in swimming, or maybe they're branching out into the new market. I think that's a good first question to either A, build a relationship with a coach, or B, ask the parent and the athlete. Has this been an issue for longer than 72 hours? And just start the conversation there. So rather than it's a really big thing, oh my gosh, you actually are experiencing a symptom, guess what? Odds are, if you're this type of athlete, you are going to experience it. Statistics show it. But what's the duration? And I like having the duration be the starting point, as opposed to the symptom or experience itself be the starting point.
Yeah, I think for the novice, the coach, the people that aren't trained in this, I think the duration is an important thing, because you can get bogged into the symptoms, and sometimes even young athletes get bogged into the symptoms as well, not sure how to differentiate pain from soreness, not knowing what's serious, what's not, the pain moving around and things like that. I always like to have the prereq that no pain is the goal and what we're really striving for. So if you're having any type of pain, that is something that needs to be addressed. But once again, if it is in that 72 hours, then yeah, that's when it start getting more serious. And that's what these authors were trying to highlight. They also use some other scales and questionnaires that they had the athletes use. So I think the Krill-Jobe orthopedic scale is a great one we've used before. Krill-Jobe is a very famous orthopedic clinic down in the Los Angeles region. They work with a lot of the Dodgers athletes and things like that. So it's a really well-used scale in the orthopedic realm, and it's something that coaches can start to use some of these questionnaires to try and figure out and have a little more objective measure to see if they should be sending their kids to, maybe a healthcare professional. And this is that one scale I think could be used pretty easily on their side if they're unsure.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Before we keep going, a
Hmm.
message from our friends over at Commit. As we all know, it's important to track workouts if you want to improve training. The most effective way to track your workouts is by using Commit Swimming. Once you write a workout, with Commit, you'll never need paper, pencil, Excel, or anything else. There we go, finally got it out. Not only does Commit understand swimming lingo, but it all puts together personal graphs of your training history and makes it easy to share workouts with others. You can access the application on any computer, phone, or tablet, so go on to commitswimming.com to try it out.
Excellent. So with these questionnaires and the different scales, how do you think a coach could best utilize it? Or maybe let's go through a scenario. A swimmer, is in practice, they start having shoulder pain, they hop out or alert the coach, hey, my shoulder's hurting. What do you
Yeah.
think the steps for the coach should be?
Well, I think first and foremost, I know a big challenge that we always hear from our coaches is how do they handle the masses?
Hmm.
They're one person and they might be seeing 20, 30, 50 kids. So I think if you actually have a kid that says, "Hey, I'm starting to get these symptoms," for me, that's the first sign to say, okay, that's one person that I'm going to start looking at immediately. Even if you could only get 25 or 50 yards, really hone in on that one athlete and see what's going on from there. I think the next step, and I believe it is in this piece as well, is your pain specific to when you're practicing, or is that pain starting to creep into your daily life outside of the pool? I think that's pretty telling as well. Is it still movement specific and kind of has some boundaries around it, or is it lingering into daily activity? Is it bothering you when you sleep? Is it bothering you when you pick up a backpack? Things like that. Those are the two places that I start. How about you?
Yeah, I think those are definitely good things that the coach can start to ask. I also think simply having these scales around and these questionnaires is something they can do. Just print off a handful of these,
Yeah.
or memorize a handful of the questions in there, which is kind of what you were suggesting. Some of those are some of the questions that they recommend in the questionnaire, and then just having them fill it out or ask the questions and start to develop that routine and that line of questioning. I'm also intrigued with the intensity of the pain level and things like
Yep.
that on my questioning side. So getting in the PT realm, we're always worried about SINs, which is, the severity, the intensity, the nature, and questions like that. So that's something that coaches could start to look into more. But if you're really trying to, stick with the coaching, which is, yeah, hey,
Sure.
coaching is stick with what you know. These questionnaires can just be a helpful tool and then allow you to figure out where to go from there.
Yeah, I really like that this is a vehicle for that self-reporting. I know across the health and fitness industry, we've had the rate of perceived exertion scaled for so long,
Hmm.
and everyone knows about it, and it really is a solid foundation for all types of specialties. And I really like that we're starting to see this sport go into a direction that's interested in having some easy validated self-reporting scale. That's really the biggest thing that I love out of this is that we're seeing it starting to come to light. We're seeing quality research, validating something, and I think it's easy for everyone to understand. I think that's a
Hmm.
big thing too.
No, I couldn't agree more. So I think those are certainly the first steps. I think, having these tools can be very helpful for coaches just to get it off their plate a little. Also, will show the swimmers, the parents that you are concerned about it, you are caring, you're not just giving I think a lot of coaches get a bad rep for being, you know, not caring enough sometimes, or not,
Right, right,
giving that perception that they care enough about this. So they'll say, "Oh, I'll just get back in, swim it off, you're fine," or
right.
just kick on your back. And doing these little things that really don't take much time can show and get, I think, a lot of the parents and swimmers on your side that you are concerned about their health and safety. Even though I'm not saying coaches aren't, but it just
It
increases that
shows it. It
perceived
shows it.
value.
It's another tool.
Exactly. You got it, which is certainly important, especially with the parents. If you're on a parent board and things like that, getting everyone on the same page is quintessential moving forward there.
Love it.
Okay. Anything else you want to add?
Nope, I love it. That's what we're talking about today. I'm sure that we'll see a few more, and we can keep talking about this, but I'm good.
Perfect. Excellent. All right. Have a good one, Jenny.
Take care.